Okay, today we're going to be comparing two unit rates. And really what you do is you find the unit rate of two different situations, and then you say, hey, how are they different or how are they the same? Sometimes you'll be looking at two graphs. Sometimes you'll be looking at a graph and a table. It doesn't matter. You just do y divided by x to get your unit rate or your constant of proportionality and compare the two. So let's see what we have going. Okay, on this first one, it says Anita and Jerry are reading the same book. The graphs below show the number of pages Anita and Jerry read each for 5 days. What is the relation between the number of pages that Anita read each day and the number Jerry read each day? So I'm going to give you a hint. Let's just look at this. Whenever you're looking for unit rates, it's real easy. Would this line go through the origin? Yes. And is it a straight line? Yes, so that means it's proportional. Let's check out Jerry. Same thing on this side. So it says compare the number of pages Anita read each day. So we're looking for a unit rate. Well, I'm going to give you a big hint. If you look right above the 1, you're going to see that unit rate. Anita read 60 pages in 1 day. So that's 60 pages in 1 day. That's a lot of pages. Now, good old Jerry over here, if we look at day 1, how much did he do in 1 day? He read 30 pages in a day. So when it asks us to compare the two, you could say Anita's a fast reader, Jerry's a slower reader, but if you want to make it mathematical, Anita read twice as many pages as Jerry did. Jerry needs to start reading a little more. All right, now here's what I was talking about. You could have this in 3 different forms, maybe even 4 forms if they added an equation. This question wants to know who has the fastest download speed. Is it AT&T? Is it Bidmore? Or maybe Comcast, otherwise known as Xfinity? Well, Comcast is the easiest because they tell us they have 28 megabytes per second. So 28 megabytes per second. And that's a lot. 28 megabytes per second? But what about the other places? Let's look it over here at AT&T. Well, they don't tell us how much for 1 second. They tell us 5 seconds. So we have to do our y divided by x. And we're going to do 150 divided by 5. And guess what they have? They have 30 megabytes for every 1 second. Okay, so they have 30 megabytes every 1 second. Well, what about old Bidmore? Now, Bidmore's graph is a little hard to read. So we're going to try to see if we can't figure out what they have. Well, if I'm looking straight up from the 1, it looks close to 20 megabytes per second. So all you're doing is finding the unit rate for each one and then comparing. In this case, AT&T is definitely the fastest.